Do you know ball?
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 Do you know ball? Episode 49. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a sports podcast. I am one of the hosts, Matthew DiGennaro, joined here with Zachary Papenberg. Say hi, Zach.
Yep, I'm here too. I'm
It-
here too.
oh, he's here. You
Yep.
guys you guys seem to really love him on the last pod. Like really loved him. You guys gave him so much attention, and Zach has some words he's gonna say later on in the pod. But today we're joined here with a special guest. Once again, we don't know how special we want to consider him. He's been here before. Please say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us your purpose.
What's up, John? I'm back. Uh,
John, do you have a last name?
Gonna talk some football. Stevens,
Okay, there
John
you go.
Stevens.
Okay.
Um, Happy to be back. It's been a while, but
hmm
we're gonna talk some sports with you guys.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, we did fire Johnny. We replaced him. He's still fired, but we're just bringing him back on for this one. So, you ready, Johnny? Talk some football?
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, everyone. We got a lot of topics today. First off, I just want to address we are going to be talking about the Yankees. Um, if you can just skim throughout the video, we'll put like a timestamp to if you want to hear about the little Yankees rant we're going to go on. But right now, we do have some football news to get into. So first things first, we're going to talk about DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is officially a Pittsburgh Steeler. Jonathan, thoughts on this? This is your forte, right? You should know
Yeah,
some
I mean,
football.
it's look. He wanted out of Seattle. You know, they're kind of just like a mid team that plays around with a wild card spot. DK like obviously wants to probably be on a better team that maybe has a chance to make a good run in the playoffs. The Steelers are kind of you always kind of see them in a wild card spot as well. But now pairing him with George Pickens, another young receiver, uh, is a good way to, you know, that makes some more depth in that offense. Make it a little tougher for defenses to match up with DK and Pickens. But especially after Tyler Lockett leaving, I'm sure that was like the last straw. Like, look, get me out. I don't want to be here. So the Seahawks are probably now on really full rebuild now. Uh, yeah, I think it's a good pickup for the Steelers, 100%. Reunited with Russell Wilson. Uh, but yeah, I think that's a good pickup for them. And I think the Steelers definitely need some more moves to make, but that's a great move by the Steelers.
Do you view Steelers as like a contender at all?
No,
No.
they still need some pieces. Definitely need a franchise quarterback.
Okay.
Uh,
What
yeah,
would oh, I was gonna ask, what do you think they need to do?
franchise quarterback, buff up the secondary a little bit. You still got TJ Watt on the line, so just buff up the secondary, get some safety, some corners. Yeah, it's really, and then you need to just get a quarterback that can, be above average. Really, like in today's football, you really need like a quarterback that is like, an all-star stud that can, help make a solid run that could give Pickens and DK the ball too. Because, Russ isn't the same Russ he's been for a while. So, he's only going to get worse from where he is now. And then they just got rid of Justin Fields to the Jets. I know we're going to talk about that later,
Mhm.
but you definitely need a quarterback to, lead the team and steer the ship.
Okay. And now so that's from the Pittsburgh perspective. So you said you like it for them. You think it's a really good ad for them. What about from the Seattle perspective?
I mean, yeah, they don't have they kind of had they didn't have to give him away, but like it's not like it's a they lost their guy. They lost like I'd say probably one of the most important guys on the franchise, but they still got that young guy's name. I forgot his name, but he's definitely probably seen as the future. Uh, Jackson Smith and Jigba. That's the wide receiver
JSN.
one now.
Yeah.
That's
JSN.
So
that's an acronym.
hmm
anyway, I
Yeah.
don't know before we were interrupted there. I think yeah, they're just in a full rebuild phase. They just dropped Tyler Lockett. Geno Smith is Geno Smith. He's not really a quarterback that's gonna bring you
Uh,
anywhere, especially after losing.
Actually, I believe Geno Smith was traded.
He
Well,
was.
there you go.
He was traded.
Now they're really like in full rebuild.
Gosh.
Like it's just so yeah. I mean, it sucks that they lost him, but then again, it's not like they were contenders losing one of their guys. So
Well. Yeah, anything else to add, Zach? You got anything to add about DK? I mean, I don't really got much to say.
I mean, no, there's not really much to say about the trade. I mean, it's a good move, I think, for Pittsburgh, especially, they're starting to make some noise. They just made it back to the playoffs last year, and I think that if they continue to get better, they could make a deeper run in the playoffs. This is definitely a good start to them, like Johnny said. Um, but yeah, getting DK to pair with George Pickens, that's great. And also I do kind of agree with Johnny with the quarterback situation because yeah, holy Christ.
Wow.
Russell Wilson, Russell Wilson um was a good option for now, but like as the years go on, he's gonna get worse and worse. So he's not gonna be, their option for the foreseeable future. So they're gonna have to find, like Johnny said, a franchise quarterback. But overall, there's not much to complain about. Besides, they also signed him to a 5-year contract that's also worth 150 million dollars, which we didn't touch on yet. So I thought that's pretty interesting too. Lock him down, just immediately trade for him, and then lock him down. That's gonna be good for them for next couple of years too. So definitely a good start. They need to do more, but yeah, there's not really much to else to add to DK going to the Steelers. And then the Seahawks are just pretty much in rebuild mode, especially after they traded DK and now Geno Smith too. So yeah, that's really my stance on DK. There's no really hate on it.
All
Can't.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
going to the next topic.
Mhm.
As Johnny mentioned, Justin Fields goes to the Jets, and this just has me wondering in general, like just how Jets fans would react to this. I don't know. I haven't seen too many reactions as of yet, but I don't think I've really been looking for them, to tell you the honest truth. Justin Fields signed a 2-year, $40 million deal. So on the short-term deal, he's their short-term quarterback. See how he does for 2 years. It's a trial run. Because they've been bouncing around from like Mike White, Zach Wilson, then they went to Rodgers for a couple of years, and then now Rodgers is gone because he's too old and they can't have him anymore, and he's doing crap last year
Yeah.
after the terrible year last year. So now they try to bring in Justin Fields to kind of like give the fans a little bit more hope. Justin Fields, I think, had a good start to his season last year, but obviously Russell Wilson came in and took over the quarterback job in Pittsburgh. So I don't know. I don't know. I think this is an interesting move. I don't know how Justin Fields is going to play in New York because there is going to be probably a lot of pressure on him to perform and to perform at a high level. So I don't know how he's gonna really adapt to that. But then again, like this is the situation that he kind of wanted. He wants to be a starting quarterback. I imagine. So who knows? Maybe he'll adapt good in New York, and maybe he'll bring something new to the table that the Jets haven't seen in a while, and maybe he'll give this team some the life that they need. But I don't know, Johnny. What are your thoughts on Justin Fields going to the
I think it's a
Jets?
good pickup. Simple as that. I mean, I'm a Giants fan. I kind of wanted Justin Fields, but look, the guy is a kid. Didn't really hasn't had much of a chance to prove himself. I mean, we've seen him on the Bears. It was a terrible situation to be in. I'm surprised he didn't get more reps in when he was in Pittsburgh, but I think look, he's got nothing to lose. I mean, career wise and what the situation in listen, you're on a team now that hasn't done anything. You've got a good team around you. The Jets are still like I still believe that offense is a really good offense if it's coached the right way and has a guy leading that offense the right way. And they've got Garrett Wilson. They've still got Brees Hall. Um, Still got Sauce Gardner on. You've still got guys that like can step up and like play really well.
Mhm.
I think Justin Fields is he's still very young, very talented, got great speed, great athleticism, very strong, good arm. And if he could blossom, I honestly that's I'm excited to see how he's gonna play. Uh, Other than that, like it's really just yeah, that's all it is. You just got to go out there and play and compete. Now you got what he wanted. You got the keys to a solid team. Go out there and make it worth your while.
All right. I don't know if you mentioned it. I might have just misheard, but did you mention at all about that him and Garrett Wilson were teammates in
Yes.
college? You did? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Ohio State.
Mhm.
I didn't mention that, but I did
Do
know that.
you think that that's going to be a lethal connection?
I mean, look, we saw Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase as soon as they got paired up on the Bengals together at LSU, and they blossomed really well. So I think that's also like chemistry is everything in sports,
Mhm.
no matter what level you're on. So I think that them having that connection is, but it can also not work. Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers played on the Packers for years and were a great duo, and then had nothing to show for it on the Jets. So it's
Mhm.
definitely a factor, but it's not everything.
All right. And just one last thing to wrap up Justin Fields. Me and Zach last year had very high expectations for the Jets, especially their record. We
Oh,
thought it
did
was going
I?
to be a lot better than we thought. So, what are your expectations for the Jets this year?
I think they can be a better team than they were last year. I really still don't know. Aaron Rodgers is weird. He's got a lot of stuff going on with the media. He's got a lot of like problems outside of football. So I don't know how much of that played into a factor or not. But regardless, like I think still they're in somewhat of an exciting team to look at now. Young team, young talent.
Mhm.
Uh,
Did you mention playoffs?
what
Did you think like did you mention that you think they're going to make the playoffs or not?
they could. I mean, still got the Bills to deal with.
Okay.
The
Yeah, that's
Dolphins
true.
are
That's true.
questionable,
Mhm.
but I think if they definitely have a chance. I mean, on paper,
Yeah.
name wise, they have a team that can definitely be that playoff caliber team and make a solid run.
All right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then, okay, so now we'll just go into the next topic. Speaking of the Jets, one of the moves that they made this offseason was that they cut Devontae Adams, if I'm not mistaken. So
that's correct.
now Devontae Adams finds himself on the Rams, just signed with them. So Johnny, football guy, what's your thoughts on Devontae Adams joining the Rams?
I mean, first of all, stacked receiving core. You've got well, they did drop Cup. I don't know why they did that, but they did. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I think Cooper Cup's really good still, even though he's not the Cooper Cup he was when he won Offensive Player of the Year a couple of years ago. But now you've got Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and Matt Stafford. And you got Kyron Williams in the backfield with, still Rams always have a solid always have a solid team. Uh,
Hmm.
they're like kind of like the Seahawks where they're making the playoffs, making the wild card and losing. So I think Devontae Adams definitely helps makes that offense a little more explosive, a little more weaponized, if you will. Uh, and yeah, Matthew Stafford's a veteran guy. Like he knows how to win games. He knows how to make adjustments mid game. And having Devontae Adams, another veteran receiver, along pair men, mentioning that Puka Nacua is also really young. I think can also learn a lot behind a guy like that who's been here for a while, been in the league for a while, and can get better under Devontae Adams.
All right. And do you think you mentioned Cooper Cup? You think he's a Cowboy?
I don't know where he's going, to be honest. I
Cowboy?
really don't. I mean, it wouldn't make a lot of sense. You already have CD. It'd be nice to add another guy like that, but I think the Cowboys' main focus needs to be building their defense again and making that because that's what made them so good to make the AFC
Yeah. Yeah.
championship.
I mean, I have no faith. As we know, no one has it worse than me. So I don't think the Cowboys are going to do much. But that's not what the topic of the discussion was. It was about the Rams. Johnny, final prediction for the Rams this season. Playoffs, contenders. What do you think?
I think they make the wild card. If they win the wild card, they'll probably just lose in the divisional. But
Okay. Well, thank you for your take. Hopefully it's well received. Speaking of takes with reception issues, um, Zach, it,
I
you're
can't believe you actually really want to do this so bad.
it literally can be 2 minutes long. It doesn't have to
I
be a
don't
full
I don't want it
segment.
to be 2 minutes long.
No, 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 no. This is for your benefit. I want you to explain to the viewers what you meant. Okay. For those that are unfamiliar, just to get some more clarity, right? It probably will not be posted on TikTok, where the majority of the heat was. This is just for the people here, just so you can make your case known. And I think this is necessary. I know you're kind of avoiding it, but I think for your sake, I think you do need to talk about it. So
Okay.
let me tell the people what it is if they're unfamiliar. Last pod, me and Zach, we did the whole pod segment was we were gonna revisit our old takes, right? earlier in the year, we did a pod, and Zach said the Cavs were not contenders. This was super early in the year. And then we look back on it last pod because clearly, it would be foolish to say that the Cavs are not contenders after what their current record is and what they've done, the players that they have. And then Zach continued to double down on the idea that they were not contenders. And even went as far as to say that they're not going to make it out of the first round and was so confident that he was willing to bet a Yankee jersey on it. That's how confident
Well,
Mr.
I'm
Papp was.
going to be wearing the Yankee jersey.
Okay,
Um,
why is that though? You're not confident anymore? That's
I don't
what that's what I
no, but
want you to address to the
I don't want to
viewers.
take back things that I
You don't
said. And
have to.
I
Just
know viewers
provide more
viewers
clarity.
I've read comments and everybody's looking at my jerseys in the back like yeah, I'm a Mets fan, but Knicks no.
Yeah, he doesn't watch basketball.
I'm not really a Knicks fan. Just Mets, just Mets. And I don't know why you consistently do this because you want to put me on the spot
I
and
don't.
you
I
want to
don't. You
that's
know why?
fine.
You kept telling me, D, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I meant to say this. I meant to say that. That's what this
All
is.
right.
This is
Well, I
for
can't
you to
because it's gonna
say
look
that.
stupid. It's just gonna. All right. All right.
They don't
So
have to, they don't have to believe you. They don't have
I'll
to
say
believe you.
this.
You have
I'll
to
say
just
this.
believe yourself.
Okay. I'll say this. I'll say this. Now, in terms of what I said, I can't take back what I said. I doubled down on what I said, so I'm not taking back the words that I said. I can't. I can't. They're already out there, and if I try to make up for it now, everybody's just gonna see through the crap, through the bullshit. Um,
No.
I'm telling you, this is what I meant. This is what I meant. Even though these are not the words, and I said they were going to be a first round exit, they're obviously not going to be a first round exit that. That was too stupid. But in that pod, we were talking about a potential later on exit. That's what I was talking about. But also, what the main thing I was trying to get at is I do not see the Cleveland Cavaliers raising up that NBA championship trophy at the end of the season.
Why?
That will not happen. I do not see them beating the Boston Celtics in a 7 game series to move on to the championship. They will not win. And I don't care regular
Can we
season
go
is regular
matchup?
season. Are you really going to question the Boston Celtics though too?
Yeah.
Bro, dude, if you got guys on that team like the other night, like Derek White and Peyton Pritchard scoring 40 plus points each. Those two guys. We're not talking Drew Holiday, we're not talking Porzingis, we're not talking Jason Tatum, we're not talking Jaylen Brown. We're talking about Derek White and freaking Peyton Pritchard. Not to say that Derek White's not good. Derek White's really, really good. Peyton Pritchard is a really good role player. They're both good in their lanes. They do what they do. They score the ball, and they're really good role players. That's why they're really good fits with the Celtics. Plus, you got all those other guys on that team, and you still got the veteran Al Horford. I don't see it. I just don't. And you guys call me crazy because you know the Cavs do have a crazy good record. They are the best team, I guess. I think. Again, I'm not. I don't know specific standings right at the moment, but they are one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah,
100%.
they have the
What are
best
they?
record by a landslide.
Best record.
By a landslide.
Okay. Best team in the league. But it is a different scenario when it comes to playoff time. I don't see them beating the Celtics. That's what I should have said instead of blabbering about them losing in the first round. Because unless some miracle strikes down and the Hawks or the Magic or someone they come in and they beat them, it's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. And I I can't take back what I was gonna say. I can't take it's already out there. It's already a video. It's already a video that's commented on, most commented on. So can't take back what I said, but I still don't think they're beating the Celtics in a 7 game series. I'm sorry. Sorry. Sorry to all those Cavs fans. I don't think because again, like I said, this part still stands. They are the same team plus DeAndre Hunter. But
No,
besides that, they have the same team.
not really.
They have the same guys on the team.
The
Don't
same
tell me.
guys that have elevated their game and are 10 times better than they were last year.
Okay, so then let's
Ty
let's see
Jerome.
how they do against the Celtics in a 7 game
Ty
series in the
Jerome.
playoffs. Let's see how they do. Because I don't think they're going to beat the Celtics. I don't
Okay.
think any team in the East is going to beat the Celtics.
I'm not saying I'm disagreeing with you on that. I'm saying that your take that they're the same team as last year is entirely incorrect. But
I don't
anyway,
I don't care. Okay.
it's
Anyway, anyway,
incorrect.
anyway, anyway, that's what I meant. They're not going to beat the Celtics in a 7 game series. That's what I should have said
I
instead of saying something stupid and saying that they're going to get out in the first round.
All right. We shouldn't really spend more time on this because this could be a whole pod in itself. I still don't agree with your reasoning at all. I'm not saying the Cavs are going to beat the Celtics. I just don't agree with your reasoning. Um, quite frankly, everyone has their own opinion. I know TikTok has their own opinion. Um, so why don't we just go right into what do we want to do? Do we want to do Yankees or
Yankees.
Mets? Yankees, yeah. People don't really care about the Mets right now. Let's talk about the Yankees a little bit. Is that you took a little exception to that? Do you want to talk
No,
about the
no,
Mets?
let's talk about the Yankees first. Let's talk about the Yankees because what's troubles in Queens is troubles on the other side. So let's talk. Let's talk because you guys got a lot of injuries and so do the Mets. And it's very frustrating for me on the Mets side, and I know it's very frustrating for you on the Yankee side. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
All
Why
right.
don't you let those injuries be known?
Thank you. I will do exactly that. Um, Pretty much, the New York Yankees are out of loot, and I wish I was joking when I say that because they are a what $7 billion organization. They're worth the most in Major League Baseball. They just broke a record for revenue earned this past season. I don't know if you guys knew that, and that's not even counting ticket sales and TV deals and sponsorships and food and jersey sales. They broke their mark, right? They made the most money that they could have made, and yet they find a way to be out of loot. Let's dive into the details here, right? As it stands, the Yankees have lost Garrett Cole to Tommy John, just announced today. Not good at all. They don't have a DH currently. Giancarlo Stanton could potentially be out for the year and could quite possibly be considering retirement. The Yankees have a traffic cone right now at third base. Um, there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues. I'm going to touch on Garrett Cole. This is just going to be a Yankee rant segment. As it stands, right? Garrett Cole, he's done for the year. It's already been confirmed. Um, the Fried signing, Max Fried, kind of lessens the blow because Max Fried would be the ace on like off the top of my head, at least like more than half the teams in the MLB. Undoubtedly, he would be the ace. So getting Max Fried definitely lessens the blow of losing Garrett Cole. Does it suck? I'm not trying to cope. Yes, absolutely. It sucks losing Garrett Cole. But at least you have Max Fried because having Max Fried as your ace as opposed to Carlos Rodon, that is a huge difference. That is an incredibly huge difference. I didn't even mention Luis Heel. Luis Heel is going to be done for at least 3 months. The Yankees love to ramp up their guys, so let's add an extra month to it. You probably won't see Luis Heel until like July, which really sucks. And it really puts things into perspective. Maybe they should have pulled the trigger and traded him for Kyle Tucker. Maybe they should have sold high on him after coming in first place for Rookie of the Year. John, you don't agree? Why not? I didn't say that. I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying maybe they should have.
I just don't think, especially after having Soto for a year, getting Kyle Tucker for a 1 year rental and maybe getting him back on free agency and then trading away a young guy like that would have been worth it.
Well, you have to understand that the Yankees window is now, right? For some reason,
I do understand that.
The Yankees are absolutely obsessed with old and aging players. That's why they went after Josh Donaldson. That's why they decided to go after Paul
Paul
Goldschmidt.
Goldschmidt.
Um, that's why they're sticking through thick and thin with Garrett Cole, who's getting up there in age and could regress in the near future. I hope not, but that's a thing with age. That's what age does. So you really have to put things in perspective. Like the Yankees have such a small window, and you did lose out on a particular outfielder this free agency. He's gone, so you have to think how are you going to replace that production? What are you going to do? So instead, they got a 38-year-old first baseman, and they got a former MVP Cody Bellinger, but he's not as good anymore. I guess same with Paul Goldschmidt, not as good anymore. Because that's what Brian Cashman does. That's what he does. In terms of a DH, uh, they don't have the loot to go after JD Martinez apparently. Who, I mean, Zach, he was on the Mets, right? What was he like last year?
Hey, so during the regular season, he was really good. I mean, even he had his moments, some moments in the postseason, but overall, last year he was exactly what I think we needed. And fit that role perfectly. He's a good DH. He's a good guy, and he'll honestly fill in the role. It could help out like a lot of young guys on the Yankees team because hitting, it's all he does. It's all he knows. So that's kind of the role he was in last year with the Mets. He was kind of just giving his wisdom to the younger guys that are coming up and just being there in the DH moments and whenever we needed him. So overall, you guys should have signed him because he could be an easy bridge just until Stanton comes back. He's just like a placeholder. He could most certainly be a placeholder until Stanton comes back. And I know Matt, you said what you said about Stanton returning. I heard that
Yeah.
maybe there's a potential way he comes back around like the May area for for Subway Series. A lot of people have been talking about that, especially on like WFAN and stuff like that. So I've listened to people who've mentioned that. Um but yeah, in terms of like a 1 year contract, like the Yankees could easily offer JD a $10 million 1 year contract. Like it, and even if it doesn't work out with him, like look, you could just have him put him in the DH spot for now. Stanton comes back, you just release him. That's it's as simple as that. It's not a crazy deal. It wouldn't take much to get JD Martinez. He's still looking for a team currently. He's not signed. He doesn't know where he's going to be playing for 20 in the 2025 year. So, I don't think it would hurt for the Yankees. He was good for us last year for what it was, so I really don't think it would hurt the Yankees to go out and grab him. But yeah, I mean, you guys got other things to worry about too now.
Yeah,
So,
no. Like I said, we're out of loot, so they somehow don't have the money, despite having one of the best years financially for the team. The World Series run really helped them apparently, and I wouldn't be surprised. Ticket sales were through the roof. Me and my dad spent a good chunk of money to go to that World Series game. Thankfully, they won. We went to the one game they won. So how they are out of loot, no clue. I was just kind of bouncing around. This is just more of like a vent session.
mm,
Like it's just frustrating because this current regime of Yankees, it's not the Yankees of old, right? We talk about the Yankees can go out, they can get anyone, they can outspend anyone. Clearly not. Clearly, Hal Steinbrenner is so different from his father. Hal likes to count pennies. George likes to get you know World Series championships. That's clearly what it is. So it's just really frustrating, and the fact that they willingly went into the season with a hole at third base just enrages me. It was gonna probably be DJ LeMahieu. Thank I don't want to say thank God he's hurt, but like he's hurt, so thank God that he's not an option for third base currently. You're gonna have Peraza or Cabrera. I don't want to count out the young guys. I think Cabrera is a very good, player, but I would like to keep him at utility. I don't want to have to anchor him down at third base. And Peraza is just like I don't know if he's got anything left in him, man.
Not a good hitter.
He's been a guy that they've just been stringing along for so long. Like he had a good amount of trade value back in the day, and now like it's like he has no value. He has no value. So now you're forced to like ride him out. And that's what the Yankees do. They let their prospects sit in their farm system for 5, 10 years, and then they call them up super late. And by that time, when they do play, they're absolute garbage. That's the Brian Cashman specialty. So you don't have a third baseman. I know they're currently looking for a right-handed bat. I would not be surprised to go out and see them sign like a super old aging guy. Whit Merrifield comes to mind. It would absolutely, I would fall to my knees in pain. It's just,
Arenado's still out there.
yeah, they're not getting Arenado, Stevens. I don't know where you've been. They're not.
yeah, no.
They're not getting Arenado. He's too much money because apparently, how Steinbrenner is broke. He's broke. You lose out on a outfielder that costs 800 million. You'd think you have a lot of money to spend. I guess not. And the money that they do spend, Brian Cashman does it so poorly. So poorly. We have at least math off the top of my head. Let's see. Close to $50 million tied on to Stroman, Rodon, and DJ LeMahieu. Now, of course, at the time, we all thought these were good signings. So I'm not gonna, harp on that. But that's just the allocation problem when it comes to Brian Cashman, and he's not good at dishing out contracts. He's not. It's as simple as that. I hope the Max Fried contract ages well. He's a very good pitcher. And as long as he's healthy, he's very injury prone as well, then it'll be fine. It will be fine. But right now, we really need Max Fried to step up as the ace for the Yankees for this upcoming season. And the Yankees are just going to rely on guys to turn into Mike Talkman and Gio Urshela and just hope that these randoms that they probably will pull up end up having really good years and maybe have a repeat of the 2019 Yankees. Maybe that's what I think they're hoping for. Are they the favorites in the AL? I don't know. I would have told
Yeah.
you yeah, but I don't know anymore, man. I
I
don't.
was gonna say also too. You also not to mention on top of like all the things that you just said that you have to worry about and be concerned about. You got to be concerned about. At what point do you get extremely concerned about Jason Dominguez? I know it's spring training. I understand that, but I mean,
I'm not worried about Jason Dominguez. If it's about his fielding, I don't care. Him and Juan Soto had the same level of fielding, so I don't really care about his fielding.
He's also an
okay,
outfielder. Like I mean,
Look,
okay,
he's making the transition from center to left.
mm,
I'm not a major league baseball player, right?
yeah,
My primary field was center field, and when I got moved to left, I will say it was a little bit of a struggle.
that
Like I said,
stinks.
it is tough.
yeah. I was just gonna say like I think a lot of people honestly, granted, it doesn't look bad because of the highlights and stuff, the lowlights, I should say, that are posted on Twitter or X and stuff. I just think he needs a little more time. Honestly, like you don't be quick to judge just because he misses a few balls in spring training. It's spring training. It's what it's for. It's to shake off the rust from the off season, and it's to just get into a groove. So I Yankee fans can be critical on Jason Dominguez. Don't be because the kid is, I mean, he was electric when he first started with you. You came up and he hit those home runs against the Astros, and my God, lit Yankee fans' hearts up, completely lit them up. So yeah, I do. I agree with that. I think that he's just gonna take him time. He's moving from, like you said, moving from center field to left field. It's gonna take some adjustment, and plus, the more reps he gets, I'm sure the better he'll be in the outfield. So. But that is just another thing that could add to the whole injuries and headache that's been going on with the Yankees too. But I don't know. Matt, if you have anything else to add before I get into my half of pain.
No, I mean, I think I addressed everything. I think I did it very, very sloppy. I apologize. It's just I get going about the Yankees and I just start to ramble. But no, I think I touched on everything I needed to, like that's going on with them recently. And I'm sure this is not going to be the last time we talk about the Yankees this year.
Nope.
So
And I'm sure the same goes for the Mets because oh man, where do we start? Where do we start? So, again, I'm gonna preface me talking about this and everything that's gone on in the past couple of weeks, with the fact that I still stand that I am happy with the offseason that they did have. How could anyone not be? But now we're looking pretty rough. It's getting pretty rough because we're losing key guys. We don't have much depth to in the starting rotation. We've already lost two members in our starting rotation. One, the biggest one being Sean Manaea, out with a right oblique strain. He's going to be sidelined till probably May, but they are retesting him early sometime this week. They probably have already retested him by the time this pod comes out and this video comes out. Um, then you got Frankie Montas out for 6 to 8 weeks with a high grade lat strain. And the latest addition to the bunch is Francisco Alvarez. He is out for 6 to 8 weeks with a fracture in his left hamate bone. And this is scary. It's getting pretty scary. And okay, like you didn't want And this is what frustrates me about the team is yes, I get it. You spent a lot of money in the offseason. We were already over the threshold and the luxury tax. We were $330 million. We're over, well past that. Um, again, when Montas went out, I could have told you that I thought they should have got some more depth. And there was one guy out there that ended up going to the Brewers that was on the team last year, and I thought they should have brought back. I thought that it's just so frustrating. Jose Quintana should have been back on the team, at least just for a little bit of depth, just for a little bit of
Yeah.
insurance, just to make sure something like this doesn't happen. And it happened. The second pitcher is down.
I'm surprised they didn't bring him back. He was cheap. He was
It
good for
was
y'all.
cheap. It would have been a cheap deal, and you could have signed him for literally a year for all I cared. For all I cared. But just to have, you know what? We got an extra lefty. We got like extra arm there that could fill out the rotation while key guys are out. And you didn't pull the trigger. He signed with the Brewers, and Mania went down. So now, what is our rotation looking like? You might ask. That's the question. And it's honestly Senga, it's Peterson, and then it just falls off a cliff. I don't know who you go. Blackburn, Canning, Tyler McGill, who? Please tell me. Brandon Sproat might make his debut eventually, but he's not ready yet. He needs some time in AAA. So who do you go with at this point? Who do you go with? That rotation, if Paul Blackburn and Griffin Canning slide in, I mean the Mets have to put up so many runs a game. So many runs a game just to win. And not even to mention that now we have a problem because our everyday catcher for the time being is Luis Torrens. And my God, does that it just throws the bottom half of the lineup off. Alvarez, I was expecting some bigger things from him this year, expecting him to step up to the plate and be, you know, takes more of a leader position type role, um, and actually break out and have a really good season. But that's out of the question now because he's hurt, and God knows when he's gonna come back. Maybe it may be late April, mid May, potentially, depending on where he's at on his recovery, because he needs surgery. He needs surgery, so he's gonna have to get surgery. Then he's gonna have to recover from surgery, and it's gonna take some time to rebuild his strength in his hamate bone. And I don't know what they're gonna do because Luis Torrens is also, I hate to break it to you, not a long time option, a long term option for the team to have at catcher every day. Because honestly, I mean, he may be hitting pretty good for what it is in spring training, but dude, that is not transferring over. Let's be real. He'll get some hits here and there, but I'm not expecting Luis Torrens to go out there and slug 30 bombs and get 100 RBIs. Like, he's not going to be an all-star catcher. He's very good defensively, but other than that, he's not really good offensively, and that's a problem. So you're taking a big bat out of our lineup. He's already gone. We have barely any pitching. Our rotation is struggling. And now because you didn't want to make the little time move in Jose Quintana, we're looking even worse in our rotation than we would have been if we just went out and signed him. Matt, please, while I'm rambling on, please do me a favor and look up how much he went to the Brewers for, if you don't already know off the top of your head,
I thought it was like
because
2 million.
that's even worse. That's even worse that you
Actually, 4.25.
for 1 year, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, 4 million, under 5 million for Quintana, whom you know can pitch good, whom has pitched good for the team the past couple seasons that he's been there. I know he didn't pitch all that well or all that much, excuse me, in 2023. That's because of the injuries. But he showed some talent. He pitched pretty decent at towards the end of 2023, and then he had a really good year last year. Like, it annoys me. It annoys me because now we're in a pretty pretty big hole. So both of us, the both of us now, between the Mets and the Yankees, both in a pretty decent hole to start off the year. And we don't know when these guys are going to come back. We it's just off a hunch at this point. It's just off a hunch. 6 to 8 weeks for Alvarez, mid-May maybe for Manaya, 6 to 8 weeks for Montas. I mean, it is frustrating that these guys are getting injured in spring training and we're left scrambling. The opening day hasn't even began. Opening day hasn't even began. I don't know. It's like beating a dead horse at this point because you're just mentioning we both go on such of a tangent because we both like just live and breathe these teams and then this happens and it's just like how unlucky do you have to be to start a year? Like you I
Yeah.
I can't say obviously first year with Juan Soto especially that we were going to make it to the World Series or anything like that. But expectations were there to be a good team. Now it's going to be a lot of trial by fire because it's they're going to have to honestly battle through the moments that they don't have a pitching staff, the moments that they don't have a catcher in the beginning of the year, and then they got to see where they're at. I'm not expecting much more of an improvement. How could you? But I definitely think they're gonna be. I thought they were gonna be a good team, but now I just don't know how it's gonna be with these injuries. It's just these injuries are rough. They're rough. They're big blows, and the two key guys in our rotation gone. Our catcher gone. If there's another injury, I might lose my mind, and I'm sure you would, Matt, too.
Yeah.
If there's another Yankee injury, oh my God! Like at what point? Like just honestly, just stop playing the starters. If they're just gonna keep getting hurt, stop playing them. Stop giving them work. And I know they need work too because it's spring training. We got to get off the rust. If they're gonna keep getting hurt, stop playing them. It's so frustrating, so frustrating. But yeah, both the Mets and the Yankees are both in pretty deep holes. Matt, I don't know if you want to mention anything about the Mets. It's fine if you don't, but.
Not really. It's just two teams that were projected to have really good years. High expectations for both, with the Mets making some
Yeah,
off-season acquisitions and the Yankees coming off a World Series. It was supposed to be a fun year for both teams, and obviously it's just the start of the year, but it's looking like it will be a tough road ahead um for both teams. At least the Yankees were the favorites in the division. Not a shot. I just don't think the Mets were, even with the addition.
no,
I think the
no, they were still a
Braves
third
maybe.
team. They were still
Yeah.
the third team,
So it's
and
like,
that's not like again, that's not a diss to them. They again, offseason Juan Soto, everything. They're
yeah,
just not there yet. It's gonna Mets fans kind of some of them, some of us get lost in Google eyes and because of Juan Soto and stuff. Yes, he's going to be a key piece to our future, but again, we have a lot of young talent and a lot of moves to make before a World Series happens. If it happens, it happens. Great. But there's a lot of things that need to fall into place before we could really dream big and focus on the World Series. Right now, that's why it's more so frustrating with your injuries because your window is closing and it's only getting smaller. Our window is not here yet. It hasn't come yet. We're building the pieces to get to that moment, to get to that year where we're like, damn, where I could go to you and be like, this is gonna be our year. This is the year. If we're gonna win a ring, a World Series, it's gonna be this year. I can't say with the team that we assembled so far for 2025 that I looked at it and was like, damn, we're gonna win a World Series. If we do, fantastic. But that's kind of where my head's at, and the injuries just make it so much more rough, so much more rough because it's three key guys for us. It's what two key guys, I guess, for you.
it's a lot more than
Three key
that.
guys, excuse
Three.
me. Three, maybe more. Three,
Yo,
maybe more.
Cole,
So
Stanton. There's gonna be more injuries during the season. Let's be real.
three apiece. Excuse me, three apiece. Three key guys to the teams, and I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go to start off the year. Both teams are already looking worse off. So hopefully, hopefully everybody that's hurt on both sides can make a speedy recovery, make it back and impact the team, and hopefully by the time they come back, both teams are not completely out of it. Or I can't imagine that both teams would be completely out of the playoffs, but it's definitely going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Rough roads ahead for both the Mets and the Yankees.
And off topic, the Nets just won, so no one has a worse man. They beat the Lakers.
That's crazy.
Of course,
That's crazy.
of course. They beat Anyway, yeah, it's this pod has turned into a rant, but season hasn't even started yet. We got like a week or so, maybe. I don't know. I mean, we're getting close.
We're
Two,
getting
two
extremely
weeks.
close to opening day. I around that probably.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
yeah.
We just
So
felt that it was necessary to do this because there was a lot of football things that happened.
mhm.
But I think two of the biggest story points, as I don't want to say we're predominantly MLB, but me and Zach talk a lot of baseball on this pod, mainly probably more than any other sport. So it's definitely something that we do need to address. Considering it, of course, it's our two favorite teams. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that's about it. I don't think we got anything else to address. Um, except for 50, we can tell them about 50 a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go
So
for it, Pat.
episode 50 is coming out on probably going to be out on Sunday. Um We are filming with a special guest. I'm not going to mention who yet, but we are filming with a special guest. He has a lot of experience in the MLB, in the NBA, covering football. Should be a fun guest to just to talk to, see what's going on, stories, and see things from his perspective. He's got an interesting viewpoint on how the MLB is run currently too. So maybe we get something out in terms of that. But yeah, episode 50 is going to be really fun, so keep on the lookout for that. But yeah, that about wraps it up for episode 49. Again, even though the Cavs video was the Cavs video, we do appreciate all the support and stuff that we've getting. Obviously, our goal in this whole thing is just to get you guys to interact with us. So no matter if it's positive, negative, if you're interacting, we appreciate it because it's our whole goal. So, again, thank you guys for the support on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Appreciate it.
TikTok.
And we will catch you guys in the next one for episode 50 on Sunday. See you guys next time.